Wouldn't it be cool if I just hit start recording right now and just started talking about how fucked up the podcast was going to be? Is that what
Yeah,
the
wouldn't
cold
that be
open?
funny? Wouldn't that be funny?
What was the bit you came up with? Some like dog shit bit?
Yeah, it was really bad.
It's just,
Want me to do it?
yeah, let's do it.
Okay, it's war. War never changes.
Now, are we sure we want that to be the opening of the show?
No.
This is all the power you ever had. Now it is mine. Pity, there's not more time for us.
You tell him it's open season on all suckheads.
Just gonna have to teach you a lesson. No more clowning around. Fire alert!
Is that gasoline I smell? No, man. No!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Edging with Trash and Monk, the one and only podcast that is out of ideas.
We're so out of ideas. We don't know how to open the show anymore.
You know what's frightening
We
is
just have
that
a list of movies. That's all we've got anymore.
is that I think we actually have substantially more ideas than the average podcast, and still we're so out of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, most podcasts, they settle in and they just start doing like the same bit
Yeah.
over and over again. Like I think about other
Yeah.
podcasts.
You're right. Most
I think
podcasts
about-
find something funny that they do, and they keep doing that. And we
Yeah.
still haven't gotten step one yet.
Yeah, we haven't figured out how to do a funny podcast yet, and that's been our struggle.
That's
Okay.
priority number one. First of all, you can't call it our struggle or my struggle or anything like that. Second of all,
Why does that have some cultural cachet that I'm missing?
I'll tell you later. Second of all, I guess I was gonna say something else, but I fucking forgot.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's the show. We watched a movie, but usually we don't talk about that just yet. Usually we like to talk
Yeah.
about some bullshit you don't care about. But you know what? There's a lot of bullshit that I don't care about these days, but none that I don't care about enough to talk on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, there's some. I don't know. We could talk about all the cool things happening in the world of Twitter.
Yeah.
That's what people like to hear about. I think.
I think that's mostly
Um,
what podcasts are for, is so that you can listen to some fucking loser talk about Twitter, which I'm happy to do. What
Yeah.
are you seeing on your Twitter right now?
Well, I mean, the big news, of course, is that Donald Trump and Elon Musk jerked each other off on Twitter for like several hours.
Oh yeah, that
the other
happened. That happened.
That
Did you listen to that
happened.
shit?
I popped in and listened. It was really funny because Trump started having a lisp,
Yeah.
and I was unsure if that was like a technical problem or if he'd like taken his dentures out or something like that. But either way, it was very odd to hear Donald Trump talking with a lisp, and then Elon Musk. Apparently, they just started like an hour late too because X is a garbage platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just wasn't working, is what I heard. Did you see the video that came out shortly after the Twitter space that Donald Trump posted?
No.
Oh my god. I'm actually surprised that you didn't see this already. Hold on. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna send it to you, and I'm also gonna play it, but the
Oh, wait, I did see this one, but
yeah. Hold on.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's
See, I'm like afraid to play it because the audio is just
Yeah.
the song.
The audio is just bad.
It's an AI video of them doing the fucking Staying Alive dance, and their skin is morphing into their clothing because it's an AI video.
Yeah, because it's an AI video where they've just deep faked themselves onto some people who can actually dance.
Some deep fake themselves onto some people 100 or 200 pounds lighter.
Yeah. And just looking really fucking dumb. Looking stupid. I think my favorite part though of the whole situation is when Elon Musk was like we were under a huge DDoS attack, and that's why the space wasn't working. And then multiple employees came out and said that is not what happened. Anonymously, of course, because they didn't want to get fired.
I believe that someone told Elon it was a DDoS, you know. I believe that the person whose job it was to fix it probably wanted to keep their job. And
we're under attack.
I mean, that's not a criticism either. I think if you're lying to Elon Musk professionally, you secure the fucking bag, you know. There's way worse ways to make your fucking money.
Yeah, incredibly fair. You know, if you're a scumbag too, though, I hope you never mind. Anyways, but so just like a whole cavalcade of dumb stuff. They admitted to doing what's it called? Union busting on the stream, and immediately had charges filed by the UAW against Elon Musk for that, which is hilarious.
Awesome.
Just like tremendous. Donald Trump talked about how hot Kamala is. It's just like a tremendous shit show. I don't know. Like he said she's as hot as Melania, basically. Was like kind of his thing.
You listen to it. Do you think that Donald Trump was aware that this was being broadcast live the entire time the recording was going from front to finish? Because, you know, Joe Biden has really raise the bar for the amount of dementia I think that a politician can have before people start saying, hey, that person might have dementia.
Wait, so when you say, do you think that he was aware, do you mean like he was aware?
I think when he got on the call, right, I think he was aware that like, oh, this is like a campaign event, it's being recorded. But like at the end of the day, he's just like fucking sitting in a room on his phone, you know, and like he's also fucking not like entirely there.
No, he's not. Yeah, no, I do think you're probably right that at some point he probably dropped his guard and was like, yeah, I mean, I'm just chatting with my friend Elon Musk.
Just chatting with this annoying guy that keeps trying to hang out with me, Elon Musk.
Well, I mean, that is more true. But then also like just being like, yeah, we're just chatting, we're friends. You know, I got to hand it to you, Elon. Great job union busting. I think, you know, excellent work. And yeah, you know, I want to see more of that if I get to be president again.
Hell yeah.
It's like, yeah, oh, that's definitely not breaking a law immediately while you're talking on a podcast. Or not a podcast, excuse me. I would never sully the art of podcasting like that.
It's the same thing.
That was a Twitter space.
It's the same fucking thing. It's a live podcast. We should do Twitter spaces. You think we could get people to randomly click in if we were doing a Twitter space?
Yeah.
The problem is you have to do it on mobile. And I'm not fucking downloading the Twitter app.
Yeah. You really can't do it from desktop?
I don't think so. I've never seen it. I know you can join on desktop. I don't think you can host unless maybe I'm stupid. That's also possible.
That's an insane choice.
That's like a common thing with a lot of these like app features, you know? Like for a long time, YouTube Shorts weren't on desktop. They just want you to fucking download the app. And they know that most people are these days are using their cell phone and like not visiting these social media websites on like a desktop browser. So
yeah,
I mean that's what everything's optimized for.
Like I get that, but also it's just like
it does suck ass, and there's no good reason for it.
I mean, on a platform like Twitter that's like falling apart, I get why maybe they wouldn't go and put in the extra functionality for that. Maybe.
Well,
But
this is
like,
not the first time there's been like an app only feature. Like, what was the thing? Weren't like fleets app only or whatever the fuck?
oh, I thought those were available on desktop too. I don't remember though.
I don't
I
know.
don't fucking remember. Ooh, what's trending right now? I just noticed something really cool trending. Swifties for Trump. Are
Swifties
they
for
talking
I
about
see that
Swift?
too. Trending with Medal of Freedom. What the fuck?
What the fuck? I just assumed it was for Swift boat veterans, but you know, I guess it's not 2010 anymore. So,
Yeah. Well,
yeah, you know, hey, it would not surprise me at all if there are Swifties for Trump, but because I mean, you know, there's because Swifties, you know, uh,
yeah.
really good at developing small cults of delusion.
Swifties the torchbearers for the modern day fascist suburbia women's movement, I think.
You think
Which
so?
I think is a great segue into talking about the fucking movie we watched too.
All right.
Unless you got some more bullshit to say.
I mean, I don't really. I can like dig beneath my
Man, we're
toenails
even
and
out of
find something.
bullshit.
Well, I mean, you know what? There's only so much bullshit to talk about, and
That's true.
that's not our primary focus. You know, I
Yeah.
didn't come with like a set of tools for
You come with a
talking about
bag of chips.
bullshit. Yeah, exactly. I came with a Lagunitas hoppy refresher and a glass of regular
Don't
water.
get fucking started on the herbal water. Don't do
You don't
it.
want to talk about herbal water? Wow. Wow.
They have CBD water.
They probably do. I know they have CBD lemonade and shit like that, but like,
Yeah, I got some CBD. Actually, yeah, I got THC sparkling water at the bodega the other day. It's the
damn.
place I get my Mr. Pure. I could probably mix it with a Mr. Pure. That'd be fucking sick.
Do you think I'd be good, or do you think I'd just be like
I
fine?
mean, what even is good anyway?
What is good? What's good?
I think it'll be a memorable experience. Is that good?
Yeah, that is good. I think memorable experience is good generally. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All
So
right, Leah, let's talk about that fucking movie. Anyways, so we watched a great movie. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't.
yeah.
It's called A Boy and His Dog.
Ruff, ruff. Ruff,
Rough,
ruff,
rough.
ruff, ruff, ruff. Actually,
And
this
this is
dog doesn't do
actually
much barking.
not much barking, except when the dog fight happens. But
Yeah.
we got Monk coming out as a furry on the podcast tonight. Very big on that.
Yeah. Did you just call
Can
me
I get an
Trump?
R? No. No.
Yeah.
Monk, can I get an Ara?
What the fuck do you want me to say?
Never mind. Anyways, so in this movie, you start out with quickly revealed there's a psychic dog. I don't know. I don't know how to attack this movie because it's like
It
the
is.
remarkable things about it are like essentially that it's like had a big cultural impact.
Yeah. And it has had a big cultural impact. I think you're right that talking about the things that it borrows from A Boy and Its Dog is probably the best like lead into talking about the movie. Like, have you ever played the video game Fallout? Or, when watched
No,
every Mad Max movie? Have you ever watched a
I've
Mad Max movie?
never watched a Mad Max movie, never played a Fallout game, never wall out through the fallout next to anyone. I've never
Well,
done anything like
have
that.
you ever watched an episode of Family Guy and talked to your namesake, Brian Griffin?
I've never talked to any psychic dogs or non-psychic dogs.
Yeah. Well, this movie has a lot of things in those. It's kind of
Oh wow.
like a protoplasm where a lot of those ideas sort of are are swimming around in primordial ooze, and the substance, the oozy substance in all of these like themes, like it's the 50s but kind of fucked up. And there's a talking dog are floating around in is the sexual assault of every woman who is alive.
Mhm. Oh, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
That's what's happening on the surface. And then there's a whole other world underground. Well, and and this plays into one of my favorite dichotomies, civilization versus non-civilization, right?
Yeah, I think to talk
And
about this one intelligently, I think we all just have to come right out and say, first of all, severe content warning for
yeah,
the thing I just mentioned. There's no way of getting, like, we can't segment off the content warning section because that's what the movie is.
yeah.
I would even say that you should probably just watch the movie. I don't think there's much summarization that can be done that can give this movie justice aside from like just a brief intro of the part we're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's just like, okay, so there's the surface of the world. World War IV happened it's 2024,
Hey, it's 2024
and
now.
hey, it's 2024, and yeah, so like a massive nuclear war happened that was like the cure to urban blight, as they say in the opening of the movie. Um, dark and yeah, there's then you meet the boy and his dog. The boy being a guy who's entered into a contract with a dog that is psychic, has a psychic connection specifically with him, and the boy wants to fuck.
That's really what he wants to do. That's like his favorite thing. It's his neurodivergent special.
Jesus. Uh,
Yeah. And
yeah.
like there's all sorts of things that happen throughout the movie that like I enjoyed watching the movie, and I think
No,
that it
yeah,
worked.
absolutely.
It's like genuinely entertaining, but it only really works like as a movie, right? Like if I tell you, yeah, the talking dog has like a homing radar to detect women for the boy to rape.
Yeah.
um, that sounds a lot rougher than it plays out on
Mhm.
screen, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's not
It's
in
not
the
good.
movie.
It's not like
It's not
wholesome.
It's not, but it's not played as like some grim dark shit.
Yeah.
It's very like whistle while we walk along the wasteland that's really fucked up, and looking for women to sexually assault or rape or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's evil. It is. The characters are. I don't think there's like a good character
No,
in this
absolutely not.
movie. In that way, it is grimdark, but it's happy grimdark.
Yeah, and I think that that's
Uh,
like the tone of the movie when you're actually watching it. It play like really does have a like it's necessary for understanding the satire is seeing how they play it because it is genuinely like a play on like these like pulp fiction like 50s novels that we were talking about in Mad
mhm.
Max, where it's like the Boy's Life magazine or whatever, where it's like this lone wanderer scavenges the wastes and encounters lusty sensual women.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like playing off of that to an extent, and it's also kind of cutting in that the first half of the movie is really just like setting up the idea that like this boy, the titular boy, uh is extremely fucked up, and then we enter parody suburbia land, um
Mhm.
and it's even more fucked up than the boy
Yeah, we enter civilization, and civilization is worse. And it's like, "Oh, no." God, yeah, the I that's my that I every time I watch this movie, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that part. I'm waiting for getting down underground into the underground Topeka. Isn't that it? Topeka?
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just all these people, they all have like mime paint on their face, basically, with like big rosy red cheeks painted on, and they're just like living a suburban dream underground,
Yeah.
looking insane.
The
The
suburban dream
audio,
of American Lebensraum in the Midwest.
yeah, exactly. And the and we're introduced into this place with the most like audio maximalism that you can experience, right? It is
Yeah.
overwhelming to the maximum. You go into the underground and there's like a loudspeaker constantly going of people just rattling off like recipes and like council decisions, and then you've got like council meetings where they're just sending people off to the farm to die, uh, and there's like you find out that there's an android that can just kill people.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's always smiling, and then there's like a marching band, and yeah, in this opening scene there's a marching band and a four-piece barbershop quartet, and like these like teenagers just like laughing
It's like
and
that's like a
looking
seed
around.
vault of 50s honky culture.
Yeah, it really is. Like it's the sock hop, and it's the like the pep rally, and
And
it's
it's the
all just like
church.
and it's the church, and it's all ground into like one disgusting mash with white face paint with big red rosy cheeks, and everybody looks nuts.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, hey, the boy who we've secretly been hunting this entire movie." There's a few hints to it beforehand, but they get to it and they're like, "Yeah, we've been hunting you the whole movie. We want to get you down here so you can breed our women." And then he's like, "Oh, you want me to fuck? Yeah, I want to be down here fucking." And then the one woman at the council who's overseeing this whole thing laughs right in his face, and you hard cut to him on a milking table getting milked for cum while he's getting married to each and every one of these women who are all very excited to get artificially inseminated with the boys cum.
Yep.
It's freaky.
Yeah. And
Oh my
like
god.
that's if you've ever lived in a place like Dallas, Texas, I think that should be it's freaky in a way that's like very relatable.
Mhm.
It's freaky in a way where it's like if this movie was like made like 20 years later, they'd have McDonald's and strip malls too in the fucking underground
Mhm.
complex.
Absolutely. Instead of just like, oh, also when they get there, the first scene,
Mhm.
you just see a field of gravestones.
Yeah, it's like Arlington National Cemetery.
The just everything about it is off the rails. And then they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna drain your cum and then kill you."
Yeah.
So then
This
this
is the
like
future Jordan
revolutionary
Peterson
movement.
wants.
Yeah, truly, truly. The So there's like a revolutionary group underground that like is just like, oh, we need to like overthrow the council so we can make this place better. And meanwhile the boy who has two names and you're never sure which one it is. uh uh
He seems to like
it
one more than the other. He seems to like Vince, right?
yeah, he likes, or
Vic, yeah.
Vic. But the dog keeps calling him Albert, and he's like, "You don't call me Albert. I'm Vic." And and then yeah, so he's just like, "Oh, okay, I'll help you break out of here." And then they just see a bunch of shit, and he's like, "I just want to leave. Just let me leave. Let me leave this fucking place."
Yeah,
They're like,
he's
"You
like
never
literally
let
like
me
I
out."
need to I need to get in the dirt to get clean.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like
that's
yeah.
the line. It's like, yeah, you do. This place is fucked. Uh, yeah,
And
it's and that's the movie.
yeah, like the fact that like it's like overwhelmingly fucking disgusting and then it shows you that like just America is even more disgusting. I'm totally on board for that. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like willing to put up with the dog with rape sonar if it is for a worthwhile cause, you know.
I feel like at least it's never played as like it's right, because the dog's always like I'm not like sold on this. This is just like how I get fed. So like, and I can't get fed anymore because I can't hunt
Yeah.
because I gave it up to have psychic powers, which is like what?
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
It's a movie. It really is like the movie is like really all about that like setup and payoff of like, oh my god, everything's fucked up, and then oh my god, the old world, the remnants of the old world are worse than the new.
yeah, they're just worse. They're just worse. Oh god. And meanwhile, the poor dog's like dying on the surface, just being like, I don't know, I'm just stuck up here, man.
Yeah.
And then the ending.
Oh my god.
So goofy. Ah, God. I don't
I
know
don't
if
think
like we spoiled the whole movie, and it's already from like the 70s. So if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. But also they end the movie, okay, by 3, 2, 1. Spoiler, end of the movie. The final survivor of the resistance movement comes up to the surface with the boy, and the boy's like, oh my god, my dog, he's dying, I gotta get him some food and medicine. And she's like, it's too late for him, we just have to run, okay? And then she's like trying to like kiss him and like and get up in his biz, and then it fades to black, and then you hear the dog talking, and they're just talking for a minute, and you see a fire, and the dog and the boy are talking, and it's just coming up from black, and it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, well, she had great taste. And they just start laughing because they
Yeah.
ate her.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And they used her fucking wedding dress to dress the dog's wounds too.
Yeah.
It's like fucking
it's insane.
Yeah.
Like this, I don't know. Did the director make anything else? I legitimately don't know.
I
I've got
think
to
it
look
would be
up.
great to make a movie like that as your only movie and then refuse to elaborate and leave.
Yeah.
I think the movie says all you need.
That's so true. Okay, directed by L.Q. Jones, who has two movies, one from 64 and this one from 75. And the other one is called The Devil's Bedroom, and I've never heard of it before and don't know anything about it. Yeah. The description of it is: misunderstanding and small town prejudice lead to the tragic persecution of an ordinary local man who is a loner.
Hmm.
And also the byline for the movie is: a scheming woman's greed, a quiet man's desire spark a nightmare of terror, suspense, and violence. I do get the sense, bear with me, that L.Q. Jones, the director of this movie, not the best opinions about women.
Probably not, and like I'm not gonna claim that the movie is 100% like spot on in its critique, but when it comes to highlighting just the cultish like ugliness in like American suburbia, I'm willing to look the other way on a few things that might be problematic, because the underlying point of like these people are fucking dark is real.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fucked up to me. I genuinely think outside of any movie, that the number one political issue we have in America is getting these fuckers out of their cult compounds in the suburbs and de-republicanizing them. Like, I genuinely think no progress can be made until we take these people who have had their fucking like families inbreeding in rural Indiana for 200 years since their great 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 grandpappy bought stolen land from the Native Americans that were fucking ethnically cleansed to start their little corn farm, and they just have been going to sock hops for 100 years since. The fucking 1,000-year Reich of the Midwest America must fucking end. And that's it. Like, nothing else can happen until that happens, you know?
You know, you might be right. But I do think that this movie, you know, I don't want to apologize for like the bad things in this movie. That's you know, that's not what I want to do.
You
but
don't
I
have
do
to
want to
apologize
say,
for the bad while recognizing the good. You know, it's from
yeah,
the
exactly,
70s.
for sure. It's an old movie, but the cool thing about this movie is that it did go on to inspire media that did curate kind of the critique in this movie into something a little less horrifying to look at.
That's true. And like, I do think that, like, obviously, like, you can't show everyone this movie. I think that for like a lot of good reasons too. I'm not gonna. It's not like, oh my god, the pussified American society isn't ready for this. No, it's just it is gross.
Not everyone can watch all of this. They do have a pretty visceral scene. Of the milking table. There's cum that goes into a tube, very convincingly for 75. I got to tell you, and yeah, there's that. There's you know, there's just a lot of
it's fucked
Vic's
up,
very nasty,
and
Vic's
like
boy.
I do think making that same argument as this movie while removing the parts that are more fucked up so that people can like actually look at it. Sure, if that's I'm not gonna say no, that's bad, you know, but I do think the message does just hit harder. You know, it doesn't hit the same when it's not this fucked up.
No, for sure. I do think that
it really forces you to
Fallout
confront the idea, and that I think is like what things that are like gruesome in film are typically trying to do in a way that maybe people don't realize 100% of the time, is like provoking that like really strong gut like emotional reaction of like disgust to the things that you're seeing on screen is, I think, sometimes like genuinely like a valuable experience to have. It's sometimes you're going to watch a movie and it's not going to be a very nice time, and that's like a good thing, actually.
Yeah, I do think that's something that's a common thing, a common refrain when I hear people talk about Tarantino, actually.
Yeah,
and I do think that it's a pretty good point, because a lot of Tarantino movies, it's funny because when people recall them, they think about how violent they are. But when you look at like the amount of actual violence happening, it's not a ton. But the thing that happens is the violence that does happen is shocking. And so when it does happen, you go, oh my God, that guy's head blew up in the back of the car. Or, you know, that person did have to walk around on like a broken leg for a long period of time. That was very visceral and focused on.
Oh my God, that lady
like,
cut up 50,000 people in suits with her sword.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that one's a little. Kill Bill's a little different, but
Kill Bill's a little like also like a specific like genre film as opposed to just Tarantino being Tarantino.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think I agree with that, just generally, that like having those like extreme sort of disgusting things happen,
and that doesn't mean you have to watch
effective.
it too. Like, if you know you're like, if you're listening to this, I hope you're an adult, and if you're an adult, you know, fucking
if you're not an adult listening to this, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry the world has failed you that you're listening to this podcast as a child.
Yeah, trust me, I've been there as a child. Yeah, you know, it gets better.
It gets better. I remember being 13 and seeing horrifying things, and you know, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but you know, I know that there are people out there like me who've done that, and if you're one of those people, I'm sorry.
Please don't talk to us.
But also don't
We're not
tell
your
us
models.
anything. the bad role models. Okay, you could find better ones.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm also looking through stuff about this movie. Do you know who plays Vic in this movie?
That is Tom Holland, right?
No, it is Don Johnson, the famous Don Johnson, in his 5th credited role on Letterboxd. Actually,
What is fucking
s-
who's that? Who's Don Johnson?
he's
What do
like
I know him from?
I don't know if you'd know him from much anything. He's been in a lot of movies, but I'm also looking through them trying to like think of what would Monk recognize.
It's a hard
And
game to play because there's not much I do recognize. Was he in like a CRPG in the 90s? I'd probably know him from that.
he was not in CRPG in the 90s, as
He
far
wasn't
as
in
I
Icewind
know.
Dale. Mark Hamill was in Icewind Dale.
I know, and Mark Hamill was, and Don Johnson wasn't. But
Damn.
Don Johnson was in a lot of things that you'd recognize. Like he was in Machete. He was in Django Unchained. He was in like a lot of movies. It's just that, it's he's he's well known for his early roles, and his later roles are like little cameos that make older people go, "Oh, look, it's Don Johnson."
Damn.
Yeah.
Does he know Jodan Baker?
Who?
You haven't seen Mitchell?
No, I have not seen Mitchell.
Damn.
What is that? Tell me more.
Mitchell is a movie about, I don't remember what Mitchell's about actually. I remember The Final Justice, which is sort of like the spiritual successor to Mitchell, which is about a Texas cowboy that heads on down to the Italian port of Malta to catch himself an outlaw.
Oh my god. Sounds compelling.
Yeah, it was very compelling watching the Mystery Science Theater 3000 episode about it.
Yeah, that is the best way to experience media, is through a bunch of people talking over it.
Yeah.
And making the media actually enjoyable. I got to tell you, it's really hard to get through Mono Sands of Fate without a bunch of idiots on the television telling you
Honestly, I couldn't
funny things
even
about it.
I couldn't even get through the MST3K monos. It's just that bad.
It's rough.
It's like bad
a
in
rough
such a
movie.
specific way where it's like just like the worst part of, maybe I'm dating myself as being fucking a 20 cell. When I watch like a movie from like the 60s or earlier where it's like a bunch of people and they're outside or in various rooms and going like, now you see here, I'll tell you this. It's like the worst possible example of that type of movie to me, where just nothing happens and everything people are talking about is boring and all the shots are boring and I don't remember anyone's names or why they're there.
Well, you don't remember Torgo?
Okay, maybe remember Torgo.
But Torgo is the only person you remember from that movie.
Yeah.
It's true. The thing about that movie is it feels kind of like what if an acid trip was boring?
You think they're
And
going
that's
for
not
that?
pleasant. Maybe they were going for that.
It was like
like
the 60s, right?
Yeah, if you open a movie with that much driving and like what's going on? Like what what influenced people to make this?
Yeah.
Insane.
And so
don't know how it happened.
all of my criticisms of Monos to Hands of Fate are of the first 15 minutes of the movie because I don't remember anything else. I remember driving and they're unpacking the car, and then there's a lot of them wandering around from room to room in a house.
Yeah, they're wandering around in the room from room to room in a house, and then there's like they find like a guy with like a big robe that has hands on it. And it's
Damn.
like, oh wow. And he kind of moves around in it. It's very
Yeah.
like art house for about 30 seconds, and then it goes back to being like the most boring thing you've ever seen. Uh
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's
Well,
fucking
here's
stupid.
our hidden Monos the Hands of Fate episode. Now please never ask us to watch this movie because we already covered it.
Yeah, there you go. The thing is, Monk, that this is the kind of movie that I would actually force you to watch for our podcast. I'm so
Really?
sorry.
You're gonna force yourself to watch it too. It's like
Yeah,
not even
Monk, I don't know if you know this. Monos is not that bad.
Yeah, I mean I know that like there's worse movies out there, right? But Monos is kind of uniquely boring in a way that like
Hmm.
that type of boredom that Monos has is like I don't it's not even something where I think it is as boring as it's possible for a movie to be. And that's like the
Uh-huh.
worst type of movie for me.
Got it. See, it's not the worst for me, because the worst kind of movie for me is where it makes you feel physical pain from watching it.
Oh, I have the movie for you. Just wait until we're fucking done with Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. We got some movies. That's the thing. And I just want you to know, listener, that we're working on Star Wars right now. We're going to get through all of it
It's an edging
on
deluxe.
the Patreon, right? On Edging Deluxe. But what I'm really looking forward to is getting through all of that so we can get to the hazing rituals that we're going to be doing afterwards, where Monk and I show each other the most painful movies we could possibly imagine. And this is what you get if you subscribe for $1 on the Patreon. So please think about it.
$1.
$1.
$1.
Yeah. But also, if you don't, very happy that you're here listening anyways. But if you
Yeah,
do,
I'm not. Pay up.
yeah, no, fuck you. Pay up. I'm gonna be like the Florida rapper Stitches. Pay up, pay up, pay up,
Yep.
pay up, pay up, pay up.
What
I'll
else
put a brick
happened in
in your
this
face.
movie? There was that whole
Okay,
thing in the
what?
movie with
Popcorn.
the. That's true. They were fucking obsessed with popcorn.
They went to the movie theater, the
Yeah.
Wasteland movie theater, where they were watching porn.
I don't know. I think that's just what they put on the theater those days.
I think it was supposed to be porn.
Yeah, there's porn. There's a guy getting like fucking burned alive. You know what? Because thinking about it, right?
Hmm.
How long ago? Like, so I've been reading a book about like the spectacle involved in like lynchings and
Okay.
how essentially the audience like mass media that like lynching proponents created in order to like advertise lynching ended up being the thing that led the like American public backed by a movement from the NAACP at the time to condemn lynching as a form of like barbarism.
Hmm.
Most like early like most of like the anti-lynching activism in like the 20th early 20th century was not actually specifically about like a racial movement. It was like the NAACP's tactics were to appeal to like white moderates by saying this is barbaric behavior, it's uncivilized. Yada, yada. They're
Hmm.
like a rule of law type argument, and not a hey maybe don't hate crime people type of argument.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But a big part of that book, and this is the part that's actually relevant to what we're seeing, because like the movie we're watching where people are like being burned alive and like like it's like some weird fucking torture porn movie from the looks of it. The has it reminded me of that book, and it's a section on like early lynching movies where like the target audience were people who had like attended lynchings, right?
Hmm.
It was like,
Yeah.
and like the act of like witnessing the lynching when it was in person was an act of like participation and complicity, right? And then mass
Hmm.
media allows that to be decontextualized and turned around in a way that can force the audience to confront what's happening rather than accept it as they were if they were like there in person watching what was going on, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
And like seeing that like the torture porn movie and thinking like, oh my god, this is probably just what life is like for a lot of these fucking people in this movie. You know? These
Yeah, I
people are just
mean,
watching it, eating their popcorn. It's like, yeah, I did that the other day.
yeah, sounds about right. Like, it's, I think that's an interesting take on it. I think that also, um, that movie theaters inside of media
Mhm.
play an interesting role, and that often they're used to kind of reflect back at, like, what you're supposed to be seeing, uh, the media that you're watching as.
Right.
And I think that that is definitely a large part of what they were trying to do with that. But
Mhm.
I do really appreciate your take on it.
Yeah, I don't think
Um,
I definitely think what you're saying is also correct, but like
mhm,
especially because I'm trying to put myself back in time to the 70s, you know, and like
mhm.
that's like not outside like the very real like living memory of when that was like extremely
Yeah,
commonplace, you know? Like the people who
absolutely.
were making that movie like either like remember if they were in the South at least, um either like were old enough to remember lynchings or like had parents that were, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know where Don Johnson's from. Let's see. Let's yeah, this doesn't say anything about. Oh, he was in Miami Vice.
That's
That's
cool.
where you probably know him from.
I have not seen a single episode of Miami Vice.
Well, you would know him from if you had ever seen Miami Vice. Um, let's see. He was on Eastbound and Down. Oh, okay.
Eastbound and down.
What about LQ Jones? Anything? Oh my God, this picture. Hold on, I'm going to send you a picture. Uh,
But even if you
yeah.
weren't like directly in the South, you were definitely old enough at that point to remember
Oh,
like
of course.
the lynching campaigns, you know?
Hmm. Beaumont in southeastern Texas. Yeah,
Ooh, there you go.
LQ Jones was from an area where lynching was definitely happening and was uh, something probably familiar. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I was that consciously going through the minds of people like the specific like aspects of like spectacle that this like very academic book I've been reading was talking about. Was that going through the heads of the people making this movie? Probably not, you know, but shit that
Hmm.
the world spirit was speaking through them, we'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Also, apparently, LQ Jones was an actor for the most part, not a director. This is one of the two films he directed,
Oh
but
yeah.
he acted in like 70. So,
Was he in anything I know? Was he
let's
in
see.
Zardoz?
No, he was in The Mask of Zorro,
Cool. I haven't seen that.
Casino.
I have seen Casino, but I
Yeah.
probably don't recognize him in that.
You probably wouldn't. He doesn't have a very remarkable looking face, to be honest. Uh, Prairie Home Companion, the movie.
What the fuck?
I, I didn't know that was a thing, but
Me
apparently
neither.
that's a thing. Wait, he also acted in A Boy and His Dog as porn stud. So he was probably in one of the movies in the movie. That's funny. That's a nice gag. Good job, LQ, who is definitely dead.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd be 100 years old. Okay, 90,
Rip in peace.
97. So
May what did they
97
say
or
in the
dead.
movie? May God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah. May God have mercy on your soul. Gets choked to death by a robot. Let's see. Any of these other movies?
Did you know
I
what was going on with the fucking mutant men and Boy and His Dog? The fucking like green shit.
Yeah, they never showed them, which was smart.
The screamers, I think they called them.
The screamers, yeah.
Yeah, they
I
kind of
do
have a
think.
moment where like he's describing them to
Mhm,
Blood, the canine, the titular dog.
mhm. Yeah.
Uh,
Blood the Canine, also called dog meat in the movie. Yeah, no, he did. Strikingly similar in description to certain other characters in media, namely ghouls from Fallout,
yeah.
um, especially the glowing ones. Yeah. But you don't see them; you just get them described to you, and they
Yeah.
apparently burn you by like touching you, and you might just die from even exposure. So they're definitely irradiated. Um, yeah, I don't know, interesting stuff.
It is interesting. I'm trying to think if there's any like thematic relevance to that other than just it's a thing for them to hide from, you know?
I mean, I kind of thought about how they might have been like a scary story
Mhm.
that people told each other, and that they weren't real. But then apparently blood saved
Yeah.
Vic from one, so they must be.
And we did see like when there was a real one in the movie on like we didn't see one of the screamers, but we did see like from the direction he was coming in, there's like a big green light in the sky, you know? Like that
Yeah.
had to have come from somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe it was just my thought then, of course, was like, oh, it's the underground people that I already knew about because I've
Right.
seen the movie before. Trying to scare people or something like that. But again, I do think that they are real in the movie, they just aren't shown, which
Yeah.
is a nice way to save money and also to make them actually scary. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what would the movie gain from actually showing one of these things, right? The
yeah.
threat of it being there is what's relevant to like driving the plot forward more than it being
Hmm.
like real.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyways, do you have anything else to say about the movie, or
I did
are we
not. I'm
kind of
kind of. I mean, I think if you've got the stomach for it, it's a watch.
yeah.
If you don't, maybe you don't have the stomach for it, and that's fine. You can
Yeah,
not have the stomach for it. That's your own prerogative.
if you don't have the juice for this, that's entirely fine. Go watch like a Fallout media. I mean, watch the Fallout show.
Go watch the Barbie movie. Maybe that's more up your speed.
I Jesus. No, like if you want something similar that isn't this though, watch the Fallout TV show. It's good.
Is it good?
It's far
I haven't
less
seen it.
offensive than this. I loved it. I thought it was great.
You loved it. Interesting. Because most people, the people I see that say they loved it, are not the type of person I would trust to talk about a TV
Mm,
show.
interesting. I mean, so the Fallout TV show, I do think it was or is I think it kind of walks in both worlds, which it makes work better than anything else has. I've not seen anything do a television show that can, that does it for people who like the source material and people who are uninitiated. It's like it's pretty good at explaining what things are and how they work in the world. And in fact, that's most of what the show ends up doing because there's a lot of lore to get into to really understand what's going on in the world.
Mhm.
But I do think that it handles it pretty well. It has a good pace. The actors are fun. It's got a light tone despite being dark as hell and all that. I just really can't think of anything bad to say about it.
I'm gonna have to
Um,
watch it so I can think of something bad to say about
yeah, I
it.
would love to hear something bad about it so I can agree with you probably. Um, the the I don't know, to the point that actually before we even started recording, when I was writing my letterboxd review, I just said about Boy and His Dog would have been better if it had Walton Goggins in it, because Walton Goggins, you know. Anyways, so I'm just saying, I do think that if you're trying to like have a more digestible version of this available to you, that is the one. It goes places that this doesn't too, but it's very into the sort of old world is a fuck 5 million dead Topekans kind of vibes that this has. And yeah, so there you go. Watch that instead if you can't handle this, but watch both if you can handle this. There you go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's the show. We've got in our mailbox, Bupkis. We've got in
Bupkis.
our voicemail, Bupkis. So please send us an
Wow.
email at edgelordpod@gmail.com. Send us a voicemail at 920-350-EDGE, 920-350-3343. Did I remember it correctly, or did I just give you the wrong number? 920-350-3343. That is
You
correct.
got it. Oh, hell yeah. I'm so excited to get potentially stickers up. I don't know if you're gonna have them yet, but something around the DNC with
I'm probably not gonna have them in time.
that's too bad, but that would have been great,
It would have been great. I'm so excited to start putting these stickers up.
We'll just have to have stickers another time. That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'll look into it, and maybe I'll be able to I can maybe order some and get them to you in time.
I'd be impressed. CBH.
I would too, but I want it. I'm hungry.
Yeah. So that's our email. That's our phone number. We're also at edgelordpod on Twitter. We're in a lot of places. We're in your walls. We're in the vents. And we're on a lot of different platforms. I'd like to thank you if you're listening to on Spotify. You're really spotting us out with that one. And I'd like to thank you if you're surfing the YouTube waves and you're listening to us on YouTube. It actually kind of sucks when we get YouTube views because they don't count for podcast downloads. But I'm glad you're listening to it anyway. If you're out there on Podbean, if you're flicking your bean to this, hell yeah. Keep on going.
Yeah, keep it up. And if you want a hint of future events, we're heading in new directions soon. We got one more movie that we're very excited to watch next week. I don't want to tell you what it is, but we're very excited.
I gotta start smoking.
Yeah, Monk's gonna start smoking because of it. And then we're going to be heading in a new direction. We're going to be heading in a sort of a wiggy wild wild west direction. Okay, and
this kind of was the wildest west of them all in Arizona in this movie.
That's true. I mean, I think it's an easy slide from the wasteland into Wild Wild West and the greater Will Smith universe, which is where we'll be headed. And I gotta tell you, I'm excited. I think that it's gonna really suck in a fun way.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Until that happens, be safe.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't know. Be safe. Be kind. Kiss your homies, and we'll talk to you next time.
You kiss your homies with that mouth?